to the point, tariffs. Let's not lose the plot here. You had one of the community members, Anthony Banks, I think it was, called in 2 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
Talking about the devastation that occurred in North Carolina, all these small towns that went out of business when the mills closed. That story was writ large. You may have seen Secretary Bessent at the New York Economics Club make reference to a study called China Shock.
Yes, sir.
China Shock's an academic piece of work. It's not political. It basically said that millions of jobs were lost, that real incomes fell throughout the region, even after you accounted for lower consumer prices, that no jobs had come back after some 10 years, or the jobs that came back were pretty low paying, and that there was a terrific correlation between the counties that were most badly struck by trade and the opioid epidemic. Yep. This is bad stuff. A bomb went off when we let China into the WTO. Batcha's been on the show many times talking about these same things. I don't care about elite opinion. Elite opinion told us that China entering the WTO was a great idea. Elite opinion told us that deregulating the financial sector was a great idea. Give us 2008, So I think that the fundamental issue with all of this is to try to restructure the U.S. economy, do something about the wages and earnings of people in the bottom half of the income distribution. And nobody's done anything about that lately. Obama ignored it. Bush ignored it. It wasn't until Trump when the subject even came up. And I think this is a big deal. I'm hoping that these tariffs work out well. I'm not convinced that it's going to be it may rock the stock market a bit. But it's what, 10% of our imports are 10% of our spending is on imported products. It's not going to make that big a deal.
Tom, you're speaking for tens of millions, so thank you for that. If the president called you and said, "I loved what you said, give me some advice," what advice would you give him about implementation?
Hang tough. Do the reciprocity, and then look carefully at some of these other countries that have been taking exceptional advantage of the United States. I don't think we can keep doing this. I think, quite frankly, President Trump is president because of this. It has caused the hostility in our politics. There's a group of people who've done right well. Probably most of us involved in this chat, a laptop class, whatever, seen nice rises in income over the last 20 years, and another group of people who have done not so good. And that's got to change. And if tariffs, I'm an economist, and I know the story you're supposed to tell about tariffs. Comparative advantage and inefficiencies and all that sort of stuff.
But for you, that's trumped by the need for some fundamental restructuring.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dan, question or comment for Tom?
Well, first off, Tom, I think you're spot on. You speak so well for so many. You may be an economist, but you're, I think, pretty good political analyst as well. I think one of the problems for the Democratic Party was that under the Obama administration, we said to people in Southern Ohio, the T of Pennsylvania, move to the city and get a better education, get a new job and clean energy, or kind of like, you need to move on. Whereas Trump said, no, I'm going to fight for the job that you had and bring it back so you can have, your way of life is good. And I embrace it. I respect it. And I'm going to fight for you. Right. And that is a huge problem for us now to try to undo. That's why I say I hope Trump is successful. If we can bring back working class jobs and people can have a good living and a good life and their kids can stay in those towns, etc., it's great. I think the question is to unwind the world economy, the way it's so intertwined, is not going to happen in 6 months to a year. It is going to take a serious amount of time. And the question is, what is the pain threshold to do this, and for how long? One of the problems we have, Dems have arguing for clean energy solutions, is it's going to cost a little bit more, right? But we're going to get to a better place. We won't be relying on oil, etc. And Americans say, I don't want to pay more for my gas to power my car. I don't want to pay more to heat my home. I don't want to pay more for air conditioning, right? So how much are Americans willing is the great question here.
Sean.
Let me just throw in one more quick point on the thing you just said. Whose jobs get hammered when we go to a Green New Deal?
Oh, I get it. I totally, I hear you.
Wages got crushed by what, 20 million illegal immigrants.
Look,
You know,
I hear you,
all these
Tom.
things add up.
Yep, I hear you.
So,
Complete-
Tom, it's funny you say this. Like, yesterday, I was in a briefing that illustrated kind of exactly what you're talking about, and I'm going to use my very technical. But let me see which side we're on. This is 2003 U.S. manufacturing, China manufacturing. Right now, China's up here, we're down there. Our share of manufacturing in the world is now so small that China actually, when you look at the US, Japan, and Germany combined, don't match China. We have lost our industrial base in this country. We make nothing here. And you go back and you start to look at what happened in England and all these places where you outsource stuff. You don't sustain. Between our debt and our lack of manufacturing base, we can get, you know, it's unfortunate, but if people don't wake up at some point with the threat that we face from China, we're doomed. And I don't mean to be, you know, sort of doom and gloom about this, but the reality is that we want to take on more debt. We want to attrit our manufacturing base, allow China to grow, and then go, gosh, I didn't see this coming. It's right in front of our face.